Fringe. Welcome to Redcliffe. Redcliffe was one of the churches who first opened their doors to the idea of the Fringe church some 5 odd years ago. It's a very special place in my heart because they were crazy enough to say yes to this ludicrous idea, which comes from seeing the gospel as the very foundation of everything in our world. And in doing so, takes a different approach, where we do not no longer have to bring people into church. We no longer have to conform to a certain way, a certain language, a certain world value to become a Christian and to come to church, but where in fact the church goes out to them in whatever your situation is, whatever your past, whatever your history, wherever you are at that current moment, because we believe that everything is built on the foundation of the gospel, which is the world. So you can't stray from that. Our principle is we come to you. We find you in your brokenness, in your addiction, in your depression, in whatever it is. And we dig down where you are to find the gospel, to find your good news. Once we've done that, it's all about the direction you're heading in. You know, we build little communities like this one here. We know we had a few guys around the area who were coming from drug addiction, club backgrounds, criminality, LGBTI, people who just would not fit into the traditional model of church. So the wonderful pastor at Peace Christian Church where we are, Mark, was crazy enough to say, yeah, give it a go. So I drove around in my little minivan and picked up as many people as we could, and we come here, and what we'd do is we'd start to talk. An evening looks like we do a check-in where there's no right or wrong answers. We go around our group and everyone has the opportunity to talk and say how their week's been going, where things have gone wrong, where things have gone well, where we've got time to weep together over the bad things and celebrate together over the good things, and we form a strong bond of community. But in that, we're still digging down to find the gospel, to find the good news for each and every one of them, to introduce them to God, to let them find where God has been in all their brokenness, because He's been there. And in that circle, we develop and we find where God has worked in our lives where we've never seen it. After that, we do a sermon. Our sermons look very different to normal. On paper, they look the same. I write a sermon pretty much every week, which is one I could give to a traditional church. The difference is it's broken into smaller sections, where, like tonight, I'm talking about Isaiah 55. So we'll read through Isaiah and I'll bring out the big points and talk to them about it. But it's not me standing up, it's me sitting down with them. And I talk to the guys and the women who come and we discuss it. I've got my points and we'll go through it. I've got the questions to ask, and their input is just as valuable as what I've got to say. And from there is where the real miracles start to happen. People start to find they're walking the gospel. Their lives change in incredible ways again and again and again. It's been a real honour, a real privilege to be able to walk this place. You know, my background is one which isn't pretty itself. So I understand these guys. And when I was in your normal traditional church situation, to see these guys come in the door and not get accepted, to get pushed back, to bounce off, to not find a home, really hurt me personally, because I could see myself reflected in them. So it was time to step away from traditional church and do something about it. And for me, that was the birth of the Fringe Church. And Redcliffe. When Mark said, sure, give it a crack, you can use our building. And then others. Before you know it, in 5 short years, we've got, I think it's up to 25,000 members all around the world. Small churches, small groups, same formula, and incredible things are happening. In a lot of places where God isn't welcome, in the Middle East, in China, in Nepal, in Russia, we've had 1,000 baptisms in Russia through Fringe churches in the last year and a bit. It's amazing. And we break bread with these people. And we connect our churches. Although there's so many little groups around the world, we are one big family in over 52 countries. And it all started here. This was the first in Redcliffe, in this little church, where a bundle of us rat bags got together and didn't form a hierarchy, but formed a family, formed a bond, and pushed each other and challenged each other to move forward, and not just to find the gospel, but to live it out, to send that message forward. For every single person who's come in here who's been struggling with addiction or criminality, we've got some guys who've been in jail more than they haven't in their life. But they find God. And in that process, and in this family, and in this support and encouragement, they step forward and start their own groups. They're able to reach so many people which we could never. It's like a guerrilla warfare, if you like. These guys are not only developed and not only encouraged, but empowered. Because yes, it doesn't matter if it's been 5 minutes or 5 decades since you've said yes to Jesus Christ. You are a fit servant of God. That is the basis of Fringe Church. Empowerment, a yes mentality, and community. We have a couple of rules. No one comes in here without this expectation. The first day, it's explained to them. You come once, you're a friend. You come back, you're family. You can't get rid of us. The other thing is, people say at the Fringe we don't judge people, but we do. We judge them harshly, and that's the reality of it. We don't judge them on where they are. We don't judge them on where they've been. But we judge them on where they're going, where their future is going. And we encourage them to reach out and grab the people around them and take them on that journey with them. This simple idea. Coming in, check in, a sermon to explore, and then the breaking of bread is all it's taken to reach thousands and thousands of people around the globe. This is a short documentary where I want to explore this idea with you and explore what the Fringe Church has done, what it's meant to so many people. And this model, I encourage you to join. When I say that, you don't have to be a Fringe Church person. You don't have to be a Fringe Church member or run a Fringe Church cell. But please, look at this gospel as the thing that everything in reality is built on. No matter where people are, meet them there. Don't try and conform them to look like you. Drill down where they are and find the gospel they're standing on. encourage, support, and walk with them. Don't have to use their name, but please look at this principle. It's the basis of everything. God is there. God is there.
Yeah.